I'm going to start with removing the glove box and the dash fascia. Glove box is, there's a little pin down there in the back. I believe you've got to pry that out. Then the lid will kind of fall out. Then it's just screws around. It'll pop off. I've got to be careful of the HSV alarm. Don't want to break that. And then the fascia is simply just the 2 bolts at the top there. Then take off.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
You shut up, Sarah. I wasn't talking to you. Anyway, 2 bolts up there. And then you pull this dash piece down. It's just on some clips like that. There are 3 bolts in total holding the fascia on. Undo those and then just pick the fascia up from the bottom here. It's on clips. Pull it out. Fascia should come off, revealing the rest of the bolts that we need to get to for the dash. So to remove the dash on this side, you've got 10mm there. You've got another 10mm just in there. It's a bit hard to see, that one there. Then you do have to remove the airbag, I believe, with these 2 bolts. And then you have to remove that bolt there, which you got to just pull the wiring back a bit. And then on the other side, it's a little bit different. Along with that bolt that goes there, there are the same bolts up top, which you got to remove these things. To do that, it's just 1 screw, and then the rest are clips. You can see it's already actually coming up. Pop it off, and then there's, I believe, 5 of these 10mm along the top, which it can be a bit annoying to get to with the windscreen, but not impossible because they're angled. So the airbag also does have to come out, which is just these 3 bolts, I believe, and then that will enable you to remove the dash. Another thing I forgot to mention, just the little things like this trim here. There's just 1 screw there, and then just these 2 screws as well. You get the ashtray out, and I believe there might be a couple more later, but we'll see. Just taking the fascia off, so now it's a matter of unbolting the climate control as well as the cluster, which is just 2 bolts, 2 screws, sorry, up there. And just unplug that stuff comes out. This will probably have some vacuum lines. I have to make sure I take photos or something, because you do not want the stuff putting those back in. Alright, got the dash down basically to the frame now, to the point that it's just bolts to the dash now holding it on. Just remove, there's a screw here, if I can get my light on, just a screw here to remove, to get this bracket off the fuse box. There's that bolt there in the corner. 1 more down there. I gotta probably take this off so you can see it. And the ones at the top. And then I believe that is it, because the whole frame should then come up. Alright, it's the next night. Been making some progress, just getting on with it. Further things to add, you got to remove, just undo the 2 screws at the end of this, bolt up in there just so you can get these wires through. I'll let the wires out when you pull the dash out. For some reason, my car has this weird box, which also has this extra bracket, which when removing the old car from the records, they didn't have it. It's just a self-tapper here, and then the bolt up there, that one of those 10mm. Yeah, I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's part of the aftermarket stereo, or maybe it's the HSV alarm. I'm not too sure. Let me know in the comments. But yeah, unbolted that. Unbolted all the grounds. Unbolted the plastic air vents on the side. Just 1, 2, I believe. Unplugged the tweeters at the top. And also I forgot to mention, on this side there are 2 screws either side there. There's just like a bracket that, I'll show you. It's just this bracket that comes down. You don't need to worry about that. This comes off as part of the dash. This just stays in the car. Yeah, other than that, I think we're getting very close to pulling the dash out. I just got to figure out what else is holding it in, and then we'll go from there. Oh, and also, yeah, the 3 bolts I mentioned here for the airbag. And there's also some 8mm, 4 8mm up top here, just to hold the top of the airbag onto the dash. Undo those as well, because the airbag stays in the car. Alright, it looks like that's it. You just lift up the dash over the bracket. Well, the airbag as well. Oh, the airbag clamp. Now, I believe it's loose on this side. You do have to unplug that sensor, or try and squeeze it through, preferably if you have 2 people helping you. I don't, so just got to be careful. Things like wires, do not, like this. There's some wires down here I didn't realize, so I might just take this bracket off completely, unbolt it, and just try and eliminate getting wires tangled, just so I don't break anything. No way, there it is. Something I never really thought I'd do in my life is get a dash out, but there we go, that's it. That's the old damaged dash. Wow. There's a lot under there. Now we can get access to the airbag, we can replace that. And gosh, what a mess of wires. Try and get the new dash in. So, wow. I did it without actually dropping the steering column. I should have done that, to be honest, but I forgot. I think I'll do that now so we don't damage the new dash getting it back in. But yeah, that's it. Oh, got the airbag out. It's pretty simple. It's two 13mm nuts there and then two 10mm underneath. One connector and she's out. There she normally sits. So now we'll get the new one, chuck her in, and I think I'll have to call it a night again and try to pick it back up tomorrow, put the dash in. Okay, it's Friday night. There's been a bit of a change of plan. Originally, I was just going to put a new airbag in, put the dash in, and get the interior finished. Until I got a new carpet. On the driver's side, if you look at that floor mat, it's a bit hard to see, one sec. This is the reason why I'm going to replace it. It's wrecked. The carpet's faded and damaged down here because it's obviously not had any floor mats on it at any point. So yeah, that means this entire interior has got to come out, not just seats, but looking under there, the carpet goes all the way under there. So that means this heater core, I believe, has to come out in order to get the carpet out. So this is going to be a bit of a nightmare, but it's my dream car, so I guess may as well do it properly once. So with that being said, I guess better figure it out, get stuck into it, clean everything up a bit, see what we're up against. Okay, change the direction. I may be able to get away with keeping the heater core, the dash, and everything in. I may be able to just slide it out from underneath. That would be such a hard task, but I'm going to try it. Might be ever so slightly possible. I just removed the footrest, I removed the little, just flathead little clips from up top there. I've pulled on it a bit. It looks like it can move freely, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to strip the entire interior, get everything out, and let's just see if we can pull this carpet out, basically. First, I've got to clean up this massive mess, though, because I've got parts stored inside this car. Let's get to that. I was just about to start pulling this front seat out, and I found this under the seat, and the date is from 1998 when this car came off the Holland production line and went to HSV. It even says the time. This is, I don't know much about it, but if you know anything about what this is, please let me know the details of it, because I'd love to understand more about this car, especially the build number, because it's build number 1586, and apparently they only made 1501 Clubsports Series 1s. They did make 174 10th anniversary cars, but mine isn't a 10th anniversary. So yeah, I'd like to find out a bit more, but if you know anything about this sticker, please let me know. To take a seat out, it's pretty easy. You've got these little trim pieces that cover the bolt. Slide them forward. Slide this piece at the back off. Do the same on the other side. That exposes your two bolts. Undo the two bolts. Slide the seat forward. Get the ones at the rear. Unplug your connector for your seatbelt, and you're done. Pretty easy. To get this piece out on the driver's side, it's slightly different. There is one screw, like if you pull up the handle, there's one screw hiding in there, that long one. And then all you got to do is just pull this part up and forward. Then you unclip these two clips. Just run a screwdriver along, clip it up. Then all you have to do is pull the handle up, and you can fit it through that gap there, and it will come out. So that's that. Again, same thing as the other side. Disconnect the connectors, undo the bolts. Pull the rear seats out, pretty easy. Grab this hook under here, pull and lift up, and it pops off out there. And that's it, the rear seat cushion's out. And then I got to check to see if we need to take these out, just to see if they're required to get the carpet out. Although I might do it anyway, just to get the seat pillar trim out, because it's looking a little old. We'll worry about that later. First, let's finish the interior. Alright, seats are out. Luckily the carpet ends here, so we do not have to take these back cushions off. But looky what I found. Hey, there's some, I'm not going to touch the rest of it. Oh, look, there's more over here too. Oh, there's some sense. But we got $2. I can buy a soft serve, maybe two. But, in all seriousness, the only thing left to do now is just remove these side panel trims, just so we can get the carpet properly out. And then, and also we've got to get the seat belts out too, because being in a crash, they're not locked up, but they do not retract, and I'm holding say to replace them. I'm going to replace them anyway. And while we've got the seats out, we can replace the tensioners too, because they're all they've been fired. So yeah, let's get these side trims out, clean some crap out of off the carpet, and figure out the wiring mess over here, because we got to make sure we slip all the wires through the holes that they go through, so you can pull the carpet out without breaking anything. Let's get onto it. Right, there's one Torx screw in this side scuff panel, but then you also got to pry off the little scuff plate cover. Underneath you'll find these two Torx screws, and then yeah, should be able to come out. Same under this cover, pry it off. I just use a flathead, or if you get a big tool under there, maybe might help. But yeah, I didn't scratch it or anything. Pull them out, and then that can come off. To get the seat belt out, there's just a little cover you just pry off with a pick tool. The screw behind there, Phillips head, 2 Phillips heads down there, and that come off. And then to take the seat belt off, obviously got to undo that nut, which there's just a cover on. You just pry that off, and then yep, get the nut. Then I think I can certainly see one bolt down there for the seat belt, but I don't know if that's the only one. And then yeah, hopefully seat belt can come out. Once you get this scuff panel removed, I didn't know, but there's actually a Phillips head hiding down here just to get to the ECU. It's a bit annoying, Behold, and it's a bit of a European move to have stuff layered on top of each other, but okay, it is what it is. But yeah, just so you know, so you don't break anything, there's a screw hidden under your scuff panel if you want to get to the ECU to tune your Mang Mang. So to remove the seat belt, you've got a 19mm down there, which will be very tight. You'll have the 19mm down there, just holding the end of the seat belt on. That won't be very tight. You have these two Torx wicks here, just holding this carrier on, and then up top you'll have another 19mm, which is this one, just holding on the guide at the top. And then yeah, you can pull your seatbelt out, disconnect it, obviously with the battery disconnected. Same with anything airbag related. Then yeah, you're good to go. Okay, something I just found out. My car does not have SRS seatbelts. I didn't know that. I thought they all came with that, actually. So these seatbelts do, I don't believe, are fired by an explosive or anything. I believe they still lock up, but it'll be the old style where there's like a ball that in a hard enough crash it will fall and jam it. Although it does shake. But this one still works and it retracts. So, well, of course I say that now and I can't get it out. It does work though. I know that because I drove it home. And there's no connector for it, so these seatbelts I guess are good then, and won't cause an airbag light, and it's still okay to use, I believe. So maybe I don't have to get new seatbelts. That would be nice. So for now, I think I'm actually just going to leave it, because yeah, it doesn't look like I actually need them, which is nice. Oh, it's the next day here. Only got a couple things left to do. Just pull the wiring out of all the holes so we can try and pull the carpet out. Hopefully we don't have to remove the heater core. But in the meantime, I'm actually going to try and dry this off a little bit. Unfortunately, it was left out in the rain. We suddenly had a downpour, so it got soaked. It's been drying for a couple of days. It's still a tad wet. So I'm just going to get a heat gun, just try to dry it down. Yeah, and hopefully we'll be ready to go in the car. Okay, last thing to do now is just sort out this wiring. Just feed it all through the holes, disconnect whatever we need to. Probably see if I can get this off, just to make things a bit easier. And then, and also unplug this bracket. Just get it out of there, get it out of the way so we can slide the carpet forward. Pull this thing down. It simply just pulls down. You pull out of the hole. I think it's just some drain of some sort. Leave that up there, don't forget that. And yeah, I think we're ready to see if we can try and pull this carpet out without removing anything more on the firewall. In my pursuit to make this car exactly how I wanted and really, really good, like a good rebuild, I've gone as far as actually dismantling the transmission gear selector just to clean this white. This is the thing the light disperses through, that one globe that sits in the back here, or on this side, and then that sits in there and the light goes through that and then goes over your gear selector. I've torn it down so I can clean this up. I've already started cleaning that up, just get all the crap off it. It was filthy. So all these little things will make it look a lot better. And if possible, I might even try and make this light a white LED as opposed to a green one, just to make it look a bit more modern. There is the old carpet, and here's what we're left with now. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I've actually done this. Like, it's something I always wished on doing, but never thought I'd get the opportunity to do it now. It's pretty much stripped on the interior. Like, we're certainly down to the sound deadening, so I'd love to do this to a race car one time. I'd love to build a Commodore race car. That would be sick. But yeah, we've got the old carpet out now. I'm just going to vacuum everything underneath. Try and get it really good. Probably should remove the handbrake. I made the mistake of keeping it in. I really should just remove it, I reckon. They'll just give me more space, less things to worry about. And yeah, let's try and get the new carpet in. Hopefully it's dry enough. Oh, I did have to put the ECU out the door just because it was a bit in the way. But yeah, we managed to slide it out underneath the heater core. So now it's a matter of trying to get it back underneath the heater core. We'll see how we go. So I can't verify this or not, but one thing I've been told is that the way you can tell if your car, or the chassis at least, is a high mileage car or a low mileage car is you look at the sound deadening, especially on the trans tunnel like this, and you look for cracks, splitting, and missing chunks of sound deadening. It is normally very quite tough, but with chassis flex, you'll see it come up not just on the trans tunnel, but in the very corners as well, like that. If I get a better light on it, you can see how it's cracking and stuff. Now that's interesting because my car, the dash says it has 324,000 Ks, but what's weird is that the car, I noticed, does not feel like it has 324,000 Ks, except the engine. The engine does feel a bit tired, not gonna lie. Although I haven't driven it that hard or that much. But the whole chassis of the car, the way the door's shut, the way it doesn't creak when you go over bumps, compared to every single Commodore I've owned, it's actually the best one, chassis-wise, I've ever owned. And I've owned a lot of VTs, VYs, and all that. In fact, my old 5-litre was 272,000 Ks, and it creaked a lot more than this car did. And it just did not feel as solid over bumps and stuff. So, I'm a bit interested. Maybe this car isn't actually 324,000 Ks. Maybe it had a cluster change because the old one was broken. Maybe it has had mileage fraud. Maybe it's been crashed before and the chassis has been swapped. Or maybe it's just been a really well taken care of car. As you can see, with the sound deadening, it's not great. It's got splits and a tiny chunk missing there, but it's not missing an entire chunk. And it's still all there. It's just split, and the same goes in the corner. It's just got some cracks in it, but there's no chunks missing. I can't pick it up with my hands. Like, it's glued on. I can't just pick the whole thing up and, chuck it in the bin. So that would lead me to think that this chassis is probably 324,000 Ks, but very well taken care of, never gone off on hard roads or whatever. Yeah, and it's just been, taken care of its whole life. Maybe, if I'm lucky, it doesn't have 324,000 Ks, but I think we'll find out a bit more when we dive into the engine and find out how good or bad that is. But yeah, just thought I'd share that. Thought it was interesting and a good way to check to see if your chassis actually got the Ks that it says it has. Just thought I'd switch directions and take the airbag out, maybe even take the steering wheel off, just to get it out of the way and make it easy to put the carpet in. I've got to take the airbag out anyway at some point. It's really easy. All it is are these T30s. Although, if I can focus, see how it has that dimple in the center? You do need a bit, where is my screwdriver? You do need a bit that also has a hole inside it. You can't have a solid bit. So that's worth noting. Just 4 of them, 1, 2, same on the other side, and then airbag simply comes off. And with mine, as with pretty much every crash car, when airbag goes off, it melts the connectors. So just, be careful removing them. Obviously, just a reminder, have your battery disconnected, and do not put these back in the wrong spots when you go to disconnect the new airbag. So with that, I'll get this airbag off, maybe get the steering wheel off, and get some space. I've got a bit of a problem. I got the airbag out, but because this connector was so melted, half of it's left inside the airbag. This connector's stuffed. I can't use that now. So now I don't know how the rest. I'll probably have to change the clock spring. I don't. To be honest, I don't really know much about this stuff. But I reckon if I get the wheel off, there's no way I can just detach this and then go get a new one. I think, I think that's stuffed. I don't know how far back I have to go till I can replace that. So, well, I certainly have to get the steering wheel off, and hopefully don't have to dive any further. But I have a feeling I will. So let's find out. Well, luckily, got some good news. Turns out that this airbag connector is just part of the clock spring, so I can pull the clock spring off, put a new one on, which is lucky because when I bought the car, I also got given an entire steering column out of a VX Calais, I believe, hence the buttons. So I've got a horn pad, although that doesn't matter because I've got a HSV horn pad coming, which I had to pay through the teeth for, but it's on its way. So I'm going to take the wheel off, well, airbag off, the wheel off, get the clock spring out, and then I'm just going to put that clock spring on that one. I believe the way that you put a clock spring on and center it is make sure the steering wheel's straight, which I did, because it's got these marks on it. So straighten the steering wheel, turn the clock spring all the way to the right till it stops, and then unwind it 2.5 turns, which would put the connectors at the very top so it sits inside the steering wheel like that. So pretty easy, luckily. And yeah, so let's get on to that, and then hopefully that should sort. I don't know if they're a different if they're a different, what are they bloody called again? What the hell? Why have I gone blank? Clock springs. If there are different clock springs between models, hopefully not. Otherwise, they'll probably cause an airbag light. But I'm about to find out anyway. So let's get on to it. All right, new clock spring is on. The wheel's on. You can see the wheel's centered. The clock spring's centered, I believe. So now all I have to do is put the bolt on. Make sure you put on some Loctite. I believe because it's blue, it's medium strength. I will check the workshop manual. But put a bit of Loctite on. I'm not going to have the steering wheel on for long because I obviously have to get it reupholstered. But still, put some Loctite on. It's not worth playing with your wheel coming off. That would be pretty bad. So yeah, we'll get that on. Currently I'll just put on that airbag, just so I can drive it around technically. Yeah, and then let's get back onto the carpet and fixing this mess. Alright, steering wheel's on. I had a quick go at trying to see if I could silicone spray the crap out of these seat belts. You can tell. Try and get it to retract, but with no luck. Like, I put silicone spray in there, up there, through the eyelet. Gosh. I put silicone spray everywhere and it just doesn't work. So at the end of the day, I need new seat belts unless I try and rebuild them, which I might try and do just because, may as well, new skill. So I'm going to worry about that later. Now it's basically put the carpet in. I guess that's the next thing. So I've got a mate coming around, well, my cousin, to give me a hand with that. And yeah, hopefully we might be able to get the carpet in. Alright, carpet is in. Not gonna lie, this actually took forever. It was so hard to slide it up underneath the HVAC system. Get it around, you gotta get it around the footrest. There's a lot of little holes you gotta poke wires through. You know, you gotta make sure it doesn't catch on anything, the handbrake. In the end, finally got it. Enough force, enough pushing. ECU's back. I got wires through. I've even started connecting wires. Just got to do little things like grounds. There's another one up there. Make sure I got all the plugs through, and I think I'll start putting the side trims on just to make sure there's no issues with the carpet getting fouled or whatever. And then actually I'm going to change direction. I'm going to go into the dash. I'm going to do the dash first, all the interior's out, just more space, less things to damage. It'll just be a lot easier. So yeah, I'll do the airbag and then the dash. But yeah, for now I'm just going to put some side trims on and then probably call it a night, I reckon. Alrighty, carpet's in, handbrake's in, that little bracket for the dash is in, footrest is in. Did the one screw that goes back here on the fuel cap lever, that's in. Scuff panels are in. I just need to put the plates on them. I'm just going to clean these up first before I do that. As I bolt it all together, I'm going to try and clean everything just so it looks brand new. And then it's on to throwing the airbag in, throwing the dash in. I'm going to do that tomorrow though. I'm quite tired. It's nearly 10 o'clock at night, plus I want to watch F1s. So, yeah, I'll get back at it tomorrow. Remember to do things like the grounds and stuff. And, yeah, it's starting to come together finally. It's good.